The Rambam in Yad HaChazakah brings only laws that are practical for every event that he speaks about. Yet when it comes to Chanukah, out of character, the Rambam opens up with a whole historical story about the miracle of Chanukah. Why is the Rambam doing that? And perhaps if we look carefully into a first halakha in Chanukah, what the Rambam is talking about is how for 200 years, Bnei Israel were able to bring back sovereignty to the land of Israel. Even though Chanukah in the long term did not last for long. They assimilated the Hashmonaim. A lot of not great things happened. But 200 years of sovereignty is what we're excited about. Every year when we come to Chanukah, we have an opportunity to celebrate the fact that today we're living in Medinat Israel in sovereignty. Chanukah, bayamim ahem, bazman hazeh.
Albeit there are many parallels in the Masechet Shabbat between the candles that we light for Shabbat and those that we light for Hanukkah, we know that there's a difference in goals. When we light the candles for Shabbat, we're bringing in and enhancing the Shalom Bayit, the peace of the home, the values of Kavod and Oneg surrounding the Shabbat table, as opposed to the Nerot of Hanukkah, which are all about Pirsum Hanes, bringing the message of Am Yisrael and the message of salvation of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to the rest of the world. And therefore, on Shabbat of Hanukkah, we have an opportunity to really merge the two. We bring in first the Hanukkah candles and then the Shabbat candles. And Rabbi Sachs points out that as we bid farewell to Shabbat of Hanukkah, as we light the Ner Havdalah with the 2 wicks, we basically are not only showing that we're taking the Kedusha of Shabbat of the home, but we light the other wick to show that now we're ready to face the challenges of the following and ensuing 6 days of the week. And especially on Shabbat Chanukah, we take the values then of the Bayit and we bring them with us and share it with the rest of the world. That's why the Hanukkah candles are placed directly opposite the mezuzah. When we walk into the house, the mezuzah is on our right, bringing in the values of Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. But when we leave our house, we're bringing in the Shalom Bayit, the Kavod, the Oneg, and we're sharing it with our right-hand side with the rest of the world. Have a Shabbat Chanukah Sameach, Chag Urim Sameach.
Hi, I'm Netanya Rubin, and I'm the Mazkira from BANAkkah, Houston. Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs, Zichrono Livracha, gives a beautiful Dvar Torah about a hidden third miracle of Hanukkah. As we know, there are 2 miracles on Hanukkah. We have the military victory of the Maccabees and the miracle of the oil lasting 8 days. So what Rabbi Sachs suggests is that there's another miracle that occurred centuries later. After the destruction of the second Beit HaMikdash, many people felt strongly about abolishing Hanukkah because it was a celebration of the rededication of the temple. Without a temple, what are we even celebrating? In the Talmud, they explain that one city, Lod, did abolish Hanukkah, but in the end, the opposing side prevailed, which is the reason why we celebrate Hanukkah today. Although the temple was destroyed, Jewish hope was not. As we say in HaTikvah, Od lo avda tikvatenu, our hope was not destroyed. So when you're lighting your Hanukkah candles, remember this. The Jewish people kept hope alive, and hope kept the Jewish people alive. Chanukah Sameach.
Chanukah Sameach. The word Chanukah, the root of the word is Chet Nun Chaf, which is an interesting root because on the one hand, it's used for terms like chinuch or chanichim, which speaks about education. And at the same time, it's also used for words like Chanukat HaBayit, Chanukat HaMizbeach, which is in reference to inaugurating something. So what's the connection between the two? In the introduction to Chovat HaTalmidim, he speaks about this, and he quotes a Rashi discussing the pasuk Vayarik Echanichav, referring to Avram. And Rashi there says that the root of the word is the beginning of bringing something into its ultimate purpose that God created it for, which gives us an unbelievable understanding of what chinuch, education is. It is not to change somebody, it is not to create somebody to something new, rather it's to bring somebody into what God created them to do, to help them meet their potential.
Something that I think is really interesting is to actually look inside and look at what we're saying. We're saying Al Hanisim, we're saying thank you for the miracles. We're talking about all the miracles that God did for us, and something that I think is so important this year is actually to take a step back and look at the good things and look what has happened this year and how we're all still here and we're still standing. And I think it's a really great message both for Hanukkah and for just ourselves in general. Let's end off this year in a really great way and have a really inspiring and amazing Hanukkah.
Hey, my name is Gurnin from Florida, and I was asked to give a quick vort on Hanukkah. So in the Gemara on Hanukkah in Masechet Shabbos, it talks about how we like the candles on the menorah, on the Chanukiah. So the two opinions are: Beis Shammai says we start with 8 and we go down, and Beis Hillel says we start with 1 and we go up. So the reason Beis Hillel says this is because of a thing called Malim B'Kodesh Ve'Em Ridin. We always want to strive to go up in Yiddishkeit and Torah, and we never want to go down. We can relate this to our own lives because we always want to add Kedusha and holiness to our lives, and we don't want to go down as a Jew. We want to always go up and be better and strive to be the best person we could be. Happy Hanukkah.
Chag Chanukah Sameach, B'nai Akiva. I'm Judah Lopatin, the Rosh Torah of B'nai Akiva, Detroit, Michigan, and I am so happy to share some Torah with you. As you can see, I am sitting here in front of our Chanukiot, which each have 8 branches plus 1 for the Shamash. Of course, there are 8 branches for the 8 days of Hanukkah. But why are there 8 days of Hanukkah? Now, before you dismiss this as an obvious question, because of the miracle of the oil that lasted for 8 days, I will propose an even harder question. If there was enough oil in the jug for 1 day, then the first day wasn't even a miracle. Naturally, the oil would last that first day. So if we were to say that the 8 days of Hanukkah are commemorating the miracle that happened, then we should only really have 7 days of Hanukkah, since that was how long the miracle actually was. I heard 2 answers to this question. The first answer is that we take nature for granted. In our question, we said that the miracle was only that the oil burned for longer than it should have. But in truth, we are taking the fact that oil burns at all for granted. The first answer suggests that the first day of Hanukkah is to recognize the miracle of nature itself. So when you go out and you walk past Jewish homes and shuls and you see the Chanukiah burning bright, especially on the first night, think about the infinite miracles that Hashem performs for us every single day. The second answer is perhaps even more profound. We know that the jug of oil did have enough in it to last for 1 day. Yet we also know that the purification process to get new oil would have taken a little more than a week. So when they began lighting the menorah, they thought that they wouldn't be able to light the menorah for a week afterwards. But they lit it anyway. This is an immense demonstration of faith. That we will do what we can do, and the rest will leave in the hands of God, so to speak. During such a complicated time, it is easy to look at what seems to be the future and worry. Will we be able to get together for sniff this year? Will I be able to go to camp next summer? When will we be able to stop social distancing and wearing masks? These are all legitimate concerns, but we have to remember that no one can predict the future. And as much as we plan for the future, it is ultimately in Hashem's hands. So let us focus on what we can do and not worry about what we can't. Let's focus on appreciating the amazing wonders that Hashem performs for us every single day, and let Hashem worry about everything else. May we all have a happy, healthy, heartfelt, hopeful, and Hatzlachet Hanukkah.
B'nai Akiva of North America, we have 2 nisim of Hanukkah, it's very clear. One with the war, and one with the candles. One that we conquered and we became a nation, and then with the candles is when we were united and we started to come together. In the modern day, Eretz Yisrael, we have the same thing. 1967 and everything, we fought with the war, and nowadays it's our turn to make it as a nation and a religious thing. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach, Chanukah Sameach.